In this video, I'm going to walk through configuring a NetBackup appliance to authenticate to an Active Directory domain. As part of a pre-configuration in Active Directory, I have created two groups, one for each of the security roles that are available on the NetBackup appliance. The first one is the administrator, and the second one is the NetBackup CLI. Within each of these accounts, we have individual users, so I'm going to define and show you what it looks like when you log on as a sysadmin. I'll show you what it looks like when you log on as an NBU user, and then I will show you what it looks like when you log on as a user that has access or is in both user groups. To start this off, we're going to log on to the appliance as the built-in user account admin. From here, we're going to go into Settings, Security, and Authentication. From within here, we're going to set up Active Directory, like I said. We could also go in and set up an LDAP or with Kerberos, etc. From here, I'm going to type configure the domain name and a user account that has access into the Active Directory domain. The command was successful. At this point I can type status and I can see the output is AD configured, yes, AD status enabled. At this point we're set and ready to go. If I type list, I can see that I have no users or principals actually added yet, so instead we're going to add a couple of groups to the appliance. And I'm going to copy and paste to minimize typos. Type list once again. We can see we have our two groups. Access is allowed. No role is actually defined. So while access is available, there's no role defined. So as of yet, they can't do anything on the box. I added groups instead of users. If I hit question mark, I can see that I have the option to add users as well. If you add users, you have the issue where if a user changes a role or leaves the company, that user account will still be on the appliance. And you may not necessarily want that when a user moves to a different role. So instead, if you apply the user to a group and apply the group security to the appliance, as the user moves into a different role within your company, they should be able to be removed from the one group and added to the appropriate groups for their next role. And everything works as expected. Alright, so on to authorizing those two groups to access the appliance. Type return once again. I'm going to go into authorization. And in here I'm going to grant access to the user or to the groups that we've added to the appliance. So I'm going to type grant administrator role to the group and the group name, and we'll do the same thing for NetBackup CLI. Backup CLI to group CLI. And at this point, I type list. I will see again. I see the groups. I see the members of the groups. And I see that the roles that are assigned. So administrator group has the role of administrator, NetBackup CLI group has the role of NetBackup CLI. If I minimize this session and I log on with a new session, I'll log on as the sysadmin account first. So if you can see, as the group membership is listed, sysadmin has access to the administrator role. And this role will grant access to the NetBackup command line shell. Similar to what you see when you log on as the built-in user account, the built-in admin account. A lot of functionalities in here are geared toward the administration of the hardware of the appliance, such as setting up network IP addresses, routes, etc. I can also log in as a NetBackup user most of the people that are actually working with an appliance want access to a command line interface to run some commands against NetBackup. And that's what this role does. So this is the NetBackup CLI user account, or NetBackup user with the NetBackup CLI authorization. At this point I can run commands that are native to NetBackup, such as BP image list. And any other commands, bpdb jobs, etc. Now I can log on as an account that has access to both authorization profiles. If I do that, then by default I get the command line first. So I can type any command I want here. And as well, I can also type switch to admin. I can jump right into the command line shell. So if I have access to both, or if I should have access to both, then I can get into both interfaces with my login. In an environment where the server administration role is separate from the NetBackup administration role, you can actually have two separate roles and manage the user access accordingly. If you run switch to admin in the NBU user, you'll see that you actually don't get access to switch into admin. Of course, you can still use SU and log in as well if you have a different account that has access to the command line shell. Type exit, we can jump back into the normal NB user role, same down here, jump back into the command line shell, and then of course type exit again and we can jump out and out of the system. And that's it. Thanks for watching.